welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video, and today I am doing this barn conversion house. So I've had this in my head for a long time, as I say at the beginning of all of my videos. But I think I've told you guys for the longest time that I really wanted to do, but I actually don't think I told you, I could be lying there. But I've been thinking it for the longest time that I wanted to do a barn conversion, and this is one of the first of not necessarily many, but most, because there is something I like about barn conversions into houses that I think are so pretty. And I was originally, this is my third attempt at the shell. Like I started the shell on Saturday because I was doing something on Sunday, like the entire day. So I couldn't do the video because normally I like to build the day before and then just do all of the like editing the day of upload. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna be busy on Sunday, so I might as well just do like the shell and all of the landscaping on Saturday, and I'll do most of the furniture on Sunday evening when I get back, and a little bit today, and that's today being Monday, and that's what I ended up deciding to do. But it took me so long to do this shell because for some reason, every single like the way a barn looks left my head, which I would like to say I have an excuse because okay, maybe I don't have an excuse because I haven't been to that many cyber cities, but I don't know what a barn really looks like. I've seen pictures and everything, but I find it better to make things that I've kind of seen actually. That could explain why I've never made a mansion, but I've also created a lot of things that I've never actually experienced. Anything to do with the ocean, never gone that, never moved to a minimalist cave house, but I somehow built that. I guess it's like that thing I said about before with the flat and something. Like it's something that I'm aware of. A lot of people have seen, but it's also something that seems a little bit make believe in my head. So I've got like kind of a freedom of I can do whatever I want with it because it's also kind of a bit not entirely too real. How can I say that? Like the boats. I made a boat restaurant. You should totally watch if you have the time. It's one of my favorite builds I've done. I love the intro for it. The intro for it is so cute. But I've made a boat restaurant before. And with that boat restaurant, I discussed this very topic of it's something I know exists and it's something I know that a lot of people have had experiences with, but it's something I haven't necessarily had experiences with. Neither have I watched a lot of medias with them in. So, for example, Cyber Cities, I'm obsessed with sci-fi, so I've seen Cyber Cities before in quite in depth. Medieval builds, I've seen a lot of medieval builds within the UK landscape alone, but also within film itself. But with Bond, I've seen it in two films, maybe one Hannah Montana and the other one I'll discuss in a second. And then I've just not really gone to an actual Bond, I think, in real life. So it's something I know that you guys will be able to look at and be like, well, that's just completely impractical as a Bond. But it's something in my head that's like, that is aesthetically a Bond. But I can also imagine how someone could believe that it's completely impractical as a barn. Like, for example, the fact that this barn is completely surrounded in water. I can see how that could be a health hazard if this used to be a barn. Like, for example, all the horses and no, all the horses and all the cows. And what do you keep in a barn? This is just horses. As again, my experience with barns is not that great. But I believe that it's completely impractical that someone would build a barn like on the lake. But my inspiration for this barn was actually from a film I watched in one of my modules for university. So during my course, you could pick like extra modules if you wanted to do. So the ones I remember doing design thinking. So understanding why things are designed the way they are designed, like the layout of a supermarket or the layout of an app, or for example, a sports place. And then I also got to do other things. What else did I get to do? I'm forgetting all of them, but one of the key ones that I need to reference now is film. I did get to do film analysis. Yeah, an analysis. And that's what I did for one of my modules. And one of the films I had to watch, I think I spoke about it before. One of the other films I watched was Get Out. But then also another film that I got to watch was All That Heaven Allows. And I don't remember too much of what happens in the film. Is that normally my go-to when I say I've watched an old film and I actually don't remember what's going on in the film, so I get really scared if it's a problematic film? Yes, it is my go-to. But yeah, I'm being really, really honest, and I say I remember bits of it, And I don't think there's anything too crazy or it would have stuck out in my mind. Like, for example, a film that's old that I liked, but I remember it being problematic. So hence why I don't really push it on other people is Metropolis. Metropolis is the foundation of sci-fi. And again, sci-fi is my favorite genre. But is that film problematic? So I don't really push on that film because it's like, I feel like it's needed for the sake of understanding film in general, but I don't think it's necessary the ethics of the film are a good film, and neither should it that aspect of the film be praised. But I think it is a good notion to have when you go through films. But yeah, and if you wonder what I'm talking about, there's just there's like multitude of things, but this is just one particular scene that there's in my mind. When you do film, there's a lot of things that you just see that you kind of like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting to see that. That's really interesting. And that's what happened when I was watching Metropolis. I know that I was expecting something wild, but I wasn't. And I feel like the me. No, I'm not going to excuse it. I don't know what the cultural context of that would have been, but it's a film from the 30s. What do you expect? So all that heaven allows, I'm not entirely sure what went on in it, but I do remember certain aspects in it that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed well, actually, I enjoyed and disliked it at the same time. I enjoyed it out of all the films that I got that chance of picking in order to do the essay I had to do for the course. But I also disliked it because it has one of the tropes I absolutely hate, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is like the benchmark of Hallmark films. Cannot stand a normally female protagonist going out and just enjoying life, got a big busy life, and then there's always this male protagonist that's like a country boy, country life, just trying to pull her towards the trad life and the country life. And if that's the life that you enjoy, that's the life you enjoy. But why can it never be like the opposite? Why can it never be like it's just a common theme of. I think it's because I'm mainly someone who really likes a busy life, and I feel a sense of actually. Oh, this is gonna be my most opinionated video. I was gonna say, okay, so I was gonna say I'm someone who enjoys a very busy life, and I do enjoy a busy life, but do one day in the future do I want to like calm down? Of course I do, because if I'll run myself into the ground. But I feel like the busy life that I use and I like is me, and that's like an aspect of myself. So when you find someone and they push you away from an environment that you are necessarily thriving in, it feels like, so now that I've molded into what you want me to be, what am I? So in the biggest essence of it all, I would say it's like I am someone who likes busy environments, likes the city, just because I like to do film. So that's where I can really be at most with myself. That, and in my 20s, I feel I like the hustle and bustle, but the solitude of myself. So I like being in my room or being in my apartment, being by myself, and then hearing the busyness of the city, people living life. I just love like just like being on like even public transport sometimes, and just people existing around me. I just like the thought of their existence around me. So if you want to find me and to be like, hey, why don't you move down to the farms? I wouldn't mind living on, actually, I wouldn't mind living on a farm because I think of horror too much. But I wouldn't mind the thought of living on a farm, or like just being out of the way, like being in a very suburban kind of environment. I wouldn't mind that. But if it's something that you make me do, it's either that or you're gone. Like why must it be that I have to go your way or it's the highway? Like why must I settle down into the farms whilst you live in this big crazy, whilst I live my crazy life? Why must it be your way? Do you get what I mean? Like that's my issue with it. It's not the issue that, oh, you can go and live in the farms if you want to live in the farms. I love Hannah Montana, and if Hannah Montana the film, if she stayed in Tennessee, I think that's where it was based, that would have been all fine with me, because I can tell that Hannah really enjoyed the farm life and that aspect of the world. But an issue that lies with me for, I don't know, I think of the circle, but the circle is a problem because the protagonist is very irking. And I wouldn't necessarily say she's entirely a protagonist and not only an antagonist as well. But within the circle, starring Emma Watson, the protagonist as antagonist has a hometown friend that stays in the farm and likes to keep. To be fair, I think I relate with him a bit more. Like, keep me out of your business. But I can't think of Hallmark films right now. I actually feel really bad for that character in that film. But within the circle, there is that showcase of she has to either pick him and stay away from the city, stay away from the hustle bustle of the city and modernity, or it's not going to be anything at all. And that's just it's just a trope. It's like, why must it always be you? I'm gonna go over it too many times, but in All That Heaven Allows, that is in there to an extent. It's in there to an extent for the sake of what life she currently lives. I don't think it's the best life just because she feels lonely, especially with all her kids leaving the house and everything like that. I think it's good that she got to have her getaway in the barn. But if they did one just little slip up, it would have turned into a Hallmark film. So I won't say necessarily all that heaven. I wasn't say at all that heaven allows is very similar to a Hallmark film. I feel like it's got the Hallmark essence of country boy, country life, gets his hands dirty, city girl doesn't know what's going on, blah blah blah, all of that. It does have that essence in it, but I won't say it's as akin as Hallmark films for the sake of she's not necessarily sacrificed in anything in order to be with him. And he's like not just like gets to continue whatever he's doing, what she has to make all these sacrifices, but it's for her own good. It's for her own good. I think The Proposal could be one. I've never watched it, but I've heard about it being like the stereotype of this kind of thing, and it's just like I love it. I love the country. I love having both. I'm not someone that needs 100% of anything. Do you get what I mean? Like I think living in like a countryside and to have a little bakery, because when I am older and I do settle down, I would love to have a little bakery and live in a very quiet area and just I will never stop being creative. I think I would continuously write and I'll probably just sell off my scripts and just be like, I'm writing, here's my scripts, I'll paint, I'll do all of those kind of things. I'll do even children's book illustration because I've always been interested in doing children's book illustration. I just love all things creative. And I'll do that, and then I'll open my own bakery because I also love baking, and then I'll create it into its own little thing. Very calm, very generous, very cute, very family. I would never want to franchise it. I just think I want to make it cute, and I would never want to commercialize it. Even though there is absolutely nothing wrong commercializing your bakery, because I know that my mother would love to start some kind of restaurant, and I would 100% commercialize that and make that into all kinds of franchises. But for my sake, baking is not my hopefully in that point in my life it won't be my main source of funds. It will just be something I like to do, because the thing is with me, cooking is like one of the only things that gives me peace. So if it becomes something that is so demanding, I won't enjoy it as much. I think with opening a bakery, it will be like, oh, I'm opening a bakery for the sake of I want to showcase and I want to share my goods, my baked goods. I'll be like, I want to own this bakery because I want to show my to share my baked goods. But that's it. It's not something I want to have in a forever. My films, however, heavily would like to franchise that. Heavily like to make it a big profiting thing. I am so excited, not for when, but not for if, but when my films do well, and I'll be excited for that. But that's like long time coming. I'm not in a rush. That's one thing. I am kind of in a rush, but I'm also kind of not. I really don't want to get there and then be like, oh, what am I doing now? But I also don't want to be stuck in this like endless cycle of, oh, I can't wait to get there. It's just that feeling of I want to enjoy the journey, and I am enjoying the journey to an extent, but every single journey, sometimes there's periods of time, like for example, like when you go into a flight from, I'm going to say London to New York. Okay, there's no layovers in from, maybe you could have a layover in Dublin. Sometimes you may have a layover in Dublin, and I feel like I am currently in a layover in Dublin. So I'm still trying to my best to enjoy it. Different aspects of the journey. I feel like I improve every single day, especially with the cinematic intros. I feel like I'm vastly improving in that. So I feel like my creative vision is almost synthesizing. But beyond that, I'm the video's gonna come to an end soon, and I've just been to it. See, this is I was telling myself, oh, I don't have to talk a lot because it's only going to be 15 minutes. I have not gone to one single point. I think this is the worst I've ever rambled within my entire videos, because I don't think I finished a point. And if you guys enjoy this, you guys are strong soldiers, honestly, because I'll be so confused if I watch this. But anyway, all of the information regarding this build will be in the description below, and everything about the trade files will be linked in my will be on my Patreon, linked in below. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this barn conversion house. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday on Valentine's Day with a very lovey-dovey Valentine's Day themed build. So yeah, thank you so much for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this long and listening to all of my ramblings. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, and the more the merrier. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.